Despite his campaign promise to curb pork barrel spending in Washington, the president today accepting a spending package stuffed with nearly 8,000 pet projects. Mr. Obama, however, acknowledging, he said the bill is not perfect. Take a look.
I am signing an imperfect omnibus bill because it's necessary for the ongoing functions of government, and we have a lot more work to do. We can't have Congress bogged down at this critical juncture.
All right, let's bring in Ohio Republican John Boehner. He is the House Minority Leader, been very outspoken about spending. Congressman Boehner, welcome. Good to have you here.
Martha, it's good to be with you.
I know that, there's a lot of talk about the possibility, and maybe it was pie in the sky, that the president might actually veto this bill. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he make that statement and say, not on my watch, I'm going to veto this bill?
That's the $410 billion question. He had a wonderful opportunity today to uphold his campaign promise not to sign bills with full of wasteful spending. And with 8,750 earmarks in this bill, there's an awful lot of wasteful spending. In addition to that, this bill is $30 billion more to keep the government going this year over last year.
Let me ask you this.
So the president missed a great opportunity.
Would the government have shut down, as he said, if he hadn't passed this bill? And why isn't there a way? I think a lot of Americans who don't know, exactly how government works would say, why can't you do what you need to do to keep the government running and push these earmarks to a later date when we're not in such a dire situation?
Well, that's what we did last Friday when we passed a continuing resolution to keep the government funded at last year's level. I believed we could do this through September 30th. Let's just have a freeze. American families and small businesses are tightening their belt in this troubled economy that we find ourselves in. And they don't see the government doing anything. The only thing growing in America is the government. And I thought by allowing the spending to continue at last year's level through the end of September would have shown the American people that Congress in Washington finally gets it.
I know that Republicans want to make, a strong statement about this. So why didn't Republicans get together and say, we have a ton of earmarks in this bill too? And I'm thinking of Senator Shelby, who has been so outspoken on the bailout bill. He was against the GM bailout bill, all of that. Why not Republicans get together and say, we're pulling all of our earmarks out? We want to make a very strong statement here.
Well, that's why I urged the president to veto the bill, and I guaranteed him that I'd have 146 Republicans would stand with him to sustain his veto. Because at the end of the day, this practice has to be changed on Capitol Hill. There just need to be much more stringent requirements, and what was outlined today is really just kind of more of the same. I think we need to have a moratorium on earmarks on both sides of the aisle.
But Congressman, with all due respect, why not take that action now? Why don't Republicans stand up? If it's a golden opportunity for the president, perhaps it was also a golden opportunity for Republicans to stand up and say, we are unilaterally putting all of our earmarks out of this bill to show you that we mean business.
Martha, I'll remind you that the Democrats have the majority in the House and the Senate. They're in charge. And that's why I think if we had an earmark moratorium for the balance of this year, allow Congress the time to work out the definition of what is an earmark, how do we reduce these, how do we make sure that there's a proper federal purpose engaged here, that would be the correct course of action.
All right, Congressman, it's always good to have you here. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
We're going to take